This man named Joseph was a very well-known criminal defense attorney in Washington, D.C. He had a great reputation for being super dedicated to his clients. And also he was super skilled, like really skilled at navigating tricky and difficult legal battles in court. In one of his most high-profile cases, he was defending a client who was charged with conspiracy to commit murder. After an intense month-long trial, Joseph was able to be like super successful, and he was able to win the case for his client. And his client was able to escape jail time and the death penalty. But the celebration didn't last very long, because literally moments after the jury was discharged and they left the courtroom, Judge George Fisher, the judge who was presiding over the whole entire case and the trial, he decided to make an announcement in open court and spoke to Joseph on the record. He basically said, "Joseph, remember like about a week after the trial began, I was coming down from my bench and you decided to get in my face and start yelling at me and insulting me. You even came to the point where you threatened me, threatened my livelihood, threatened my position, and threatened my life. So because of your behavior, I am holding you in contempt of court. And because of these like horrible violations, your horrible conduct in this court, you are officially disbarred from the practice of law." So, and if you don't know what it means to be held in contempt, basically every judge, they have the authority and honestly duty to control their courtroom. And this can be done by holding people in contempt of court. If they are like being rowdy in court, being too loud, making a ruckus, or if they just disobey court orders. And usually the punishments for being held in contempt for regular people are fines and jail time. But for attorneys, this punishment is actually even more intense. And it includes being disbarred. So Joseph was held in contempt of court and immediately disbarred. And Joseph felt the effects of that order, the effects of that disbarment immediately. Because once he was disbarred, he lost every single one of his clients because he could no longer defend them. He could no longer represent them in any court proceedings. He also lost access to his law firm office. They're like, "Yeah, no, you cannot come in here. Like, what are you going to do to the clients? You ain't got no clients. Get out." And the news of Joseph's disbarment spread like wildfire in Washington, D.C. in the worst kind of way, because no one wanted to associate with him. No one wants to associate with someone who would openly threaten a judge to keep her cool. So Joseph was forced to watch helplessly as the decades he invested in building relationships and building his reputation and, building his client list and building his practice, all of that went down the drain. And in the span of a couple months, it was ruined. And it's one thing to lose everything, right? It's already awful on its own. But it's another thing to lose everything because of a lie. You see, nothing Judge Fisher said was true. All of it was made up. Judge Fisher had a not so secret. It wasn't really a secret. Judge Fisher hated Joseph's client. Literally hated him. And honestly, a lot of people hated Joseph's client. He was not very popular. And because Joseph was so vigorously and like just advocating for his client in court, Judge Fisher hated Joseph too. The hatred was so deep that after the jury came back, they could not unanimously decide on convicting the client. Judge Fisher decided, you know what? If I can't punish your client, Joseph, I'm just going to punish you. And so that's what the judge did. And Joseph knew all of this, and he even had witnesses. And so eventually Joseph decided, you know what, I want to be reinstated to the bar. So he decided to sue Judge Fisher for disbarring him based on a lie. He wanted to hold Judge Fisher personally responsible and sue him for all the money he lost while he was disbarred. Joseph wanted to argue that because Judge Fisher lied, he didn't actually have any authority to hold him in contempt. The law said the only way he could be held in contempt was if he did something wrong. And since he didn't do anything wrong, the judge had no authority to be holding him in contempt or disbarring him from the practice of law. And so Joseph took his case to court, and eventually it made it all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States. And this decision is actually the law of the land to this day in the United States. And the Supreme Court very quickly came back with their decision. And they said, so look, Jamarcus, here's the thing. you're a lawyer. Judge Fisher is a judge and he has absolute judicial immunity for his official acts, right? So he cannot be sued for monetary damages for his official acts as a judge. Guess what? As an official act as a judge, holding people in contempt. That's official act. And so is disbarring a lawyer for being in contempt of court. And for some reason, we collectively have also decided that it doesn't actually matter if he lied or if he was paid to hold you in contempt. We just decided it doesn't really matter, At least it doesn't matter to us, right? So yeah, you can't be suing him for money. We're throwing out that case. You cannot sue him for monetary damages, okay? And then what was the other thing? Oh yeah, oh my gosh, you being disbarred, right? Because of a lie. Ugh, yeah. We all know it was such a bummer. But yeah, good luck with that, Justin. Good luck. If you're looking for easy to understand legal documents, check out the Pro Se blog Patreon. There you'll find a catalog of legal papers like motions and objections, videos where I break down certain legal documents. Plus, you'll find our new community chat room where we can support each other through state and federal court battles. Court is hard and pretty isolating, but with the right people around, it gets easier. Check out our Patreon today.